This is for all of those who are dating after divorce at, I think, any age. But first, a quick story. I met my first wife in an art class. We were taking a glass blowing class together, and the instructor said, find someone you'll really want to spend a lot of time with, and all the labs, all the things that went with it. And so I looked around. I saw a woman and liked her earrings. I thought, okay, that's the one. And our relationship just grew organically. It developed simply because we were spending time together doing something we really loved. Fast forward 25 years, and our marriage ended, and I found myself dating again. Except I realized it wasn't that I was rusty dating, it was I really didn't even know how to date. What we had done in college wasn't really dating. We were just in class together and things grew. Certainly, we didn't have apps, we didn't have swiping. It was really just being around each other, and relationships grew in that way. Dating in my 40s was much different. This is now 10 years ago. Dating in my 40s was much different. It was swiping left and right on apps. It was looking for new places to meet people. It wasn't that I could just go to my class and there she was. I felt like a complete novice at it. And I made mistakes, maybe some of the same mistakes you've made or are making, or hopefully will not make in the future. So, what went wrong? Well, there's some just common themes that I found in my own experience and then with my clients too, as they've dated. I want to name just a couple of them and see if we can pull them apart a little bit. Uh, One was simply dating too soon. I remember reading a woman's profile and it said, if you're divorced but haven't been outside of that relationship, haven't been divorced for at least 5 years, swipe no. I was kind of incensed. Like, I'm ready. I wasn't ready. And a lot of people are not ready to start dating again before this last chapter is closed. And it gets messy. We still have this emotional entanglement with our last partner. And we hurt people along the way, hurt ourselves sometimes along the way as well. So, one is too soon. What's dating from the wrong place? When I started dating from this neediness place. I was I was just seeking a connection just to prove my worth, to prove I was a good guy. I had a scarcity mentality. So like, oh, I've got to find this person. I need to find someone. I'm running out of time or of people or whatever it might be. There weren't enough. Wasn't enough. The third thing was that I was still hiding. I was cultivating my vulnerability, showing just enough for her to think that I was vulnerable, but really hiding a lot, hiding my aches and pains, hiding my responsibility for how the last relationship went, certainly for how it ended. And there was an impact for these two things, for starting too quickly on the dating scene and for coming from not a really healthy place. And it was that I hurt people. It was unintentional, but I hurt people, broke hearts. I broke my own heart. And I kept repeating this pattern until a teacher of mine gave me a wake up call and said, you need to stop dating. Your nervous system simply is not ready for it. And so I started to enter into what was called a feminine cleanse. I now call it a reset. And there's another video we watch about that one because I realized that I needed to reset my nervous system so that I wasn't operating from a place of neediness or scarcity or certainly from fear. And so I started this reset and I had just casually gone on a few dates with three women and I said to two, "Hey, I need to take a break. I'm going to do this reset." And and they were upset about it. And I think they understood, but they were upset about it. And then the third one, she challenged me. She said, "Well, aren't you studying relationship skills? Aren't you with this teacher?" It was John Wineland. "Aren't you with this teacher who's who's working on how you show up in relationships? Don't you need a practice partner?" She wasn't wrong. In fact, she became my wife. But the practice is the key. We decided to do this relationship as practice, taking it super slowly before we took the next steps, before we introduced our kids. It was a long time, months and months and months, years before we got engaged. It was a good approach. We approach it as a practice, not as a rush to fill a void, not from a place of scarcity or neediness. We learn to be authentic, not to not to curate our vulnerability. And we spent a lot of time really looking at what are our needs. I had been suppressing real needs, fearing they'd be judged. And my partner, Leslie, she listened to them with such an open heart and didn't make me wrong for my needs. And that might seem so simple, but we do that so often. We make people wrong for their needs, their core needs, their core deep needs. We make them wrong, or we hold back because we think they're going to make them wrong. I mean, they may not, but we think they will. So we hold back. We hold back ourselves. And so the lesson for anyone who is dating at any stage in your life, first is treat it as a practice. We're going to try these things out, a new way of showing up. And the first thing is digging into your needs. And these are the core non negotiable needs, like the need for safety, for unconditional love, or a need for energy or depth or grounding. Those are deep, deep needs that's super important to honor in ourselves and super important to honor in your partner. Why this matters is because deep needs shouldn't be up for debate. How they're met might be up for debate. If my deep need is unconditional love, that's a beautiful thing. If my wants and desire is that you therefore have this ongoing text with me throughout the day, 50 texts back and forth, that's how you show unconditional love. The partner might say, well, that's not really where I want to go or not possible, right? That's something to negotiate how it plays out. But that need, that deep need is non negotiable. That deep need is something that hopefully you can share freely with your heart, that you can listen with so much empathy and so much welcoming and so much yes from your partner. And this will transform how you relate, because instead of hiding or bending, you'll show up fully. Instead of feeling wrong for your needs, you'll own them with confidence, and you'll attract a partner who's aligned with your truth, not just the temporary make you feel good because you shared something, but it really is actually aligned with who you are. So I'm going to encourage you to try this just even as an experiment. That's why I call it practice, because practice, 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 experiment within that practice. Practice expressing your own needs. Practice having the courage to express your own needs. Practice opening your heart with this empathy and welcoming to hear their needs. Try this as a practice. See where it takes your relationship. Because if you're out there starting to date again, I guarantee you the rules have changed for the better. showing your true self, connecting on deep needs, coming from a place not of scarcity, but of plenitude, not from fear, but from courage, not from a neediness, but from a place of, I've got everything I need right here inside, and you could be the icing on the cake. Try that as you go through the dating world, you start this new chapter in life, and let me know how it's going. When you stop hiding, that is where real connection begins. That's where real intimacy begins. Good luck on your journey.